Just watched Scream. That was absolutely the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, but I loved every second of it. So
it's his example of it being so bad is good. Because I'm sorry, but nothing tops Last Jedi is the worst movie.
But that was bad, and I hated it. This was bad, and I enjoyed it.
Anyways, that was Logan's thoughts. Now it's me and Jonas. Anyways, how's it going, everybody? Back for another review. Very late on this. I said I was going to do this a lot earlier, but
I took a long time to see it.
He did too. The review today is going to be the newest Scream movie. It's been out for a couple weeks now, so most people had enough time to see it. I just got done. We just got done. Me rewatching it, him seeing it for the first time. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I feel like this is going to have to be a case where we really just have to mix the good and the bad, because it's hard for me to make distinction in my head, and I have too many thoughts going around in my brain.
Let's just jump in.
Okay, so just right off the bat, the thing I did not like the most about this movie.
Oh, I can tell you what I didn't like about this movie.
Well, the thing I didn't like the most, and what really led me to be not super disappointed, but what kind of hindered my enjoyment of it, was that I went into this film expecting to see the original cast a lot.
And you do for the most part, but minus a very large character.
Exactly. But even then, like, it took to like what, a third of the way into the film before Sidney Prescott even showed up. I wanted to see her,
and it made it more meaningful whenever she did show up. But yeah, and it's David Arquette shows up pretty quick. Insert picture of David Arquette. Thank you.
Yeah, Dewey's the first one of the original ones that you see.
We'll get to that here. Yeah, but when he shows up, I'm like, dude, heck yeah. And then he's like a lowlife at first, but he comes around. So I thought his character was fine for the most part. They didn't ruin him or anything.
That's another thing this is just a problem I have with this franchise as a whole. With every single film, there is always some sort of drama between Gale and Dewey. I am so sick of it.
It's just the thing. Like, okay, when you go into a Scream movie, you're expecting a lot of things. One, for it to be the love interest. For the killer to be love interest. Two, for Dewey to get stabbed somehow. Like in the first one, he gets stabbed in the back, like runs out the front door. And three, for Gale to like piss somebody off and also
like she always does,
and also have like drama with somebody, whether it be Sydney in the the second one when she writes the book.
It was the first couple. It took until really later on in the movies before they started actually becoming friends.
Or whether it be with Dewey, but that's what you usually go into a Scream movie expecting. So I knew Dewey was going to get stabbed, and I knew Gale was going to be Gale. So,
I'm just so sick of that trope, because even when I watched the fourth one, because I watched the first one for the first time back in 2020 on Halloween. And then I watched great. 2, 3, and 4 this past, like, leading up to Halloween.
Okay.
So I watched all of them beforehand, so I was, like, really looking forward to this.
Before we get too into this, so, first one, thoughts, just really quick.
I think it's one of the best horror films ever made.
2, I didn't like because they killed off too many characters that were in the first one. Randy. True.
I still like the second one, though. It's part of my... If my ranking of films, it would be my second favorite.
Third one, forgettable.
I didn't mind the third one, but it's still probably my least favorite of all of them. But actually, I don't know, because rewatching this one, I don't know.
Fourth one, it's fine.
Fourth one's fine.
It's fine. It has some pretty cool parts, and it's got some like pretty like well-known actors now. Like Hayden Panettiere is in it. I'm pretty sure. There's some well-known actors that are in it, and it's. If you rewatch it, you're like, oh, this is kind of stupid. But then there are some points where you're like, yeah, it's fine.
I didn't mind it, but I mean, this one, it just. Again, what really
it's a Scream movie.
It is. And also, just another thing that really kind of took me out is what I loved about the first couple of movies was that I was always so focused on who's the killer.
I think it was obvious.
And I think that's something I was always focused on for the first couple when I was first watching them. With this one, this film was just so gory, and it pretty much always focused on that.
It's the 21st century.
Exactly. It was just so gory to where it's like I wasn't paying attention to who's the killer. I was paying too much attention to the amount of gore to where I can't focus on suspecting who the killer is.
Now,
which was my favorite part about watching the first one for the first time.
I will say,
was screaming at my TV going, who is it?
I will say, yeah, because in the first one, you genuinely don't know who it is. In this one, I think I figured it out pretty quick. We'll get to that here in a second.
Yeah.
But the thing, what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's like a different take on, like, for instance, the Halloween movies. Like, they're like there's the original Halloween. There's like the Rob Zombie Halloweens that are like so much gorier and like actually like terrifying. This one, Ghostface is less comedic than he has been in the past. In the originals, he does like these stupid like falls where his robe waves everywhere and it's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
He does a couple of those, but I would say that Ghostface is more intimidating in this movie.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, because he's more intimidating in this movie. It's just a different take on it, but you don't have as much like fun watching this movie as you do, because like every character was like,
most of the characters just straight up weren't likable.
it was supposed to, in the originals they like made fun of the horror genre as a whole, and they did that a little bit in this movie, but not near as much as like Randy is. His entire like purpose of his character is to make fun of the horror genre and its like tropes and stuff.
Which they sort of passed down to.
And that was good.
What's her name? Finn from Miles Morales.
Picture. Yeah, I forgot. I know her character. I don't know her character's name. It's fine.
But they sort of, which I mean makes sense because she's related to Randy. But most of these other characters, I just didn't like. Even right from the start, because the killer is the boyfriend. What a shock! And
which boyfriend?
Yeah. And whatever, and Amber.
Amber, yeah.
Even from the start, I never liked her. I thought she was crazy through and through.
And I told you, like last week, I slipped in, whenever I was on shift at the movie theater, I would slip in there a couple times, but I didn't stand there to see too much. And I told you I already had a guess at who it was. That was literally the exact two that I guessed. Yeah. And so I think I found it out pretty quickly. But like the first couple Scream movies, it's like, who is it? This one.
Yeah.
You kind of expected it. And Dewey, when they literally meet Dewey for the first time, he literally says the first thing that Dewey says is suspect the love interest. Oh my God, Dewey, thank you. He gets it right immediately.
Yeah.
And then he says it could also be somebody in the person's group, in the first victim's group of friends, which it freaking is. Just listen to Dewey, man. That's the... Oh,
they can't anymore because he's dead.
I was so upset. Yeah, I was waiting to say that. I literally leaned over to you and I'm like, I swear to God, if Dewey dies, I'm gonna be upset.
And this was right before it happened. And
because
having seen this movie before, I just thought to myself, oh, he's not gonna like it.
Because
the first time I watched this film, I was so mad that they did that.
Because his character, you're yelling at him and you're like, what the heck are you doing? Because how he dies is he goes back and you're like, oh, he goes back to shoot the person in the head. He's just shot Ghostface a couple times in the chest, but like they probably have on bulletproof vests.
But he gets super up close to him, and his phone rings, and it distracts him long enough for Ghostface to stab him.
That's the thing about this movie.
And drag the sword, like stab him in the front and the back, and then just drag the swords upwards.
Yeah. Where did they get the second knife?
Why did I say
Why did they get the second knife?
Probably just.
No, but
somewhere.
The overarching theme in this movie is characters move really slow in this movie. Characters do things slow. They crawl away slow.
To be fair, with the crawling, it makes sense because they're in so much pain right now.
That's
only
true.
Because when the sister was crawling away, which to be fair, I thought she was
She went through some crap. That's all I'll say.
She went through, because she made me believe that she was in pain, and I have to give her actor credit for that.
Yeah, Dewey goes about that whole thing really slow. He should have just shot Ghostface right after. Like, he shouldn't have had to go back. Or when he did go back...
Or at the very least, not stand right in front of him in range for Ghostface to stab him.
Or when he did... He probably could have, from the elevator at the end of the hallway where they were at, he probably could have pointed and done it from there.
I guess he wanted to make sure, but at the same time, he didn't even get as close as he did.
They wanted Dewey to die. This is... Now,
make it better.
And this is why... True. This is why I believe that this is going to be the last Scream movie. There's no way there's going to be another one without...
I don't know.
There won't be another one without Dewey.
This one had a point in time where it made more money in its opening weekend than Spider-Man did. But this has gone down pretty quick because the second week of this film being out, Spider-Man made more than it.
But if they had a Scream movie without Dewey, I'd be upset. So if they make another one, kudos to them. But
I just don't know how I feel about it anymore because if they do make another one, it's not going to be on the original cast,
and it won't have Sydney or Gale. Or
exactly, because Sydney Prescott is one of my favorite lead characters in anything ever.
She is
because she is competent, and in horror films, it's not something I really expect.
Yeah, that was what they did in the first movie. Was they made sure to tell you she wasn't messing around. She was she was bad A. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she
like
was.
literally one of the first scenes you like see her in, like in this movie, she puts a tracking device on someone's freaking car.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that makes the most amount of sense. So yeah, in the first movie, they like, because at that point in time, the popular movies, when the first Scream came out, the popular movies were like, well, Friday the 13th was pretty much dead by then. But like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, the Halloween movies, stuff like that, where the main characters are stupid, and they're like, you know what, screw that. And Sydney's like the smartest lead character in any horror movie,
and she's one of my favorite lead characters, just in any, like, not just in. She's my favorite character in horror films that I've seen. She's also just one of my favorite movie characters.
Which is
why I was so upset she wasn't in this film.
And she's played by Nev. I forgot her last name, but she's
Campbell.
She's great.
She is fantastic.
And I love that, like, whenever she puts the tracker on her car, Gail's like, I mean, yeah, Gail doesn't question it even a tiny bit.
No, she doesn't, because she's just like, I'll take that as a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so upset that she wasn't in this film more. I mean, I like seeing Gail again.
She's good in the last scene, I'll say. Well, she's one of the few good parts about the last scene.
It was nice to see all the legacy characters back. Even though some of the newer characters, I really wasn't a fan of them. I like the brother. The one who, like, got stabbed a lot, but then again, that explains a lot of characters in this film.
Oh, yeah, curly-haired guy. Yeah, he was fine. Yeah, he was cool.
I liked him. I liked the guy from 13 Reasons Why.
Oh, crap.
Wes.
Blonde, yeah.
Blondie.
His character's name was Wes, blonde guy. Yeah, he was cool. His character was the tiny... Oh, no, he was one of the few smart characters, because he had, like, a taser that he was trying to grab towards whenever he died.
But yeah, I was upset to see him die.
He was cool.
Because I liked him.
I thought, like,
every time, like, even on rewatch, this got me every single time. I'm just looking at it, I'm just like, every time he opens the door, and then
that's one of the few, like, parts about this movie that I actually loved, is because
I like that too.
They love making fun of horror movies, and what they've done in the past Scream movies is every time someone opens a door, it covers the background, and when they close it, Ghostface is there. And so in that scene, they do that probably, like 4 or 5 times? It's a fake out?
It was 4 times, and then Ghostface actually shows up.
And then you think he sees the front door open, you think he's going to open, and he closes it, and he turns around, and there's Ghostface.
Yeah.
They do a good job of... Well,
they do a good job of that, because it like, just keeps you on your toes.
Oh, okay, one thing really quick that I just remembered. At one point, the Mr. Boyfriend man is watching a video, and it has this YouTube channel called Dead Meat, and he's got millions of subscribers.
Oh yeah, I know.
On YouTube. Yeah,
that's actually fun.
He counts kills in like horror movies and stuff, and he's sitting there doing a review with his fiance about it, and I thought that was awesome.
That's actually really
because
cool.
He's probably the most well-known like horror movie YouTuber on YouTube. Shout out if you're watching this.
That was pretty cool. I never paid attention to that. One other thing that I thought was, because I thought I noticed this the first time, but I wasn't 100% certain, and on rewatch, I know I did. The fact that they talk about the Stab movies as essentially a comparison to the Star Wars films, I think is fantastic. Because they talk about Stab 8, and then one of the characters is like, oh yeah, the one the Knives Out directed. And I'm sitting there thinking...
And then they say the word Star Wars, like, not soon at, like 10 seconds later.
But yeah, they bring up that, and they're just like, yeah, original fans hated it. And I'm thinking to myself...
Me too.
If you guys know, the Knives Out director is Rian Johnson, who did Star Wars The Last Jedi, which is the 8th Star Wars film. It's a reference to that.
Which doesn't make sense, because Last Jedi sucks and Knives Out is incredible. Hopefully we do a review. If we do a review on that, call me, because that movie's amazing.
Oh, we will.
That movie's amazing. Anyways, but yes.
I just love that, because even this film acknowledges Last Jedi is trash.
And this movie's not great.
This movie is like crosses the line of like being so bad it's good, but
they weren't intending for this to be a great movie. They were intending this to be a fan service, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
as long as this is the last one.
So yeah, most of the I really didn't care for most of the characters. I liked a couple of them. I love the returning characters. I wish they were in this.
The returning character, yeah, the fact that they're returning characters is the best part of this movie. Shows that this movie was fan service.
And even then, it's just because of the fact that everything else just wasn't.
Because without Wes Craven, what do you do?
That's fair.
Yeah. So for y'all that don't know, Wes Craven, who was the creator of the first 4 Scream movies and the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, the Freddy Krueger, he what did he pass away of?
I don't remember.
But yeah, there was a character in the movie named Wes, obviously after him, but... Yeah.
Which is why in the movie they make a big deal about when Wes dies, is to remember Wes Craven himself.
Yep.
So that part I did. I like that twist.
Yeah.
Well, not that twist, but like that touch.
The original was more about the whodunit, and this one gets less about the whodunit.
This is so much less because it's focused so much on the gore aspect. I just can't focus
Which
on
is
it. And I don't care enough about most of these characters.
Most.
Because again, there's some I like, but even on rewatch, just like most characters either annoyed me or I just straight up didn't care for them. Again, the characters I did like aside from the original, I liked Wes, the brother, and probably the sister, like the younger sister, the one who was
Tara,
yeah.
the like original person that gets attacked. Yeah, okay.
Those are really the only three characters I really like. I didn't mind Sam.
She was fine.
I didn't mind her, but it was those of all these new characters. I only like 3 of them. That's kind of a problem.
She's better in the Heights than she is in this.
But this film, again, I think is an okay film. If Logan had been here, I mean, he gave you his thoughts, but for him, it's like so bad it's good.
In the words of Logan, it is the best worst movie ever.
Yeah,
because it'd be better if you. Maybe not see in theaters, but once it comes out on like streaming services, watch it with a group of friends and just like joke about some of the stuff that they say. Because some of the jokes they say are like actually funny.
Also, this is just another issue I have with some rated R films. The fact that this film feels like they say the F word every 5 seconds.
It's mainly the last scene, and it's the 2 killers that say it. Mostly.
Yeah, that's just the meeting. Like I honestly don't care. But the fact that it just feels like they say it so much, I'm just like, if it almost feels like yeah, it's rated R, but you're not.
But a lot of the jokes they say are actually funny. So watch it with a group of friends, joke about some of the stuff that happens in the movie because when it's funny, it's pretty funny, but
it's entertaining enough. But just as a film, it's not anywhere near the first one. So for me, I'm probably gonna have to give this a score of probably. Because I still enjoyed this film a decent amount, I'm probably gonna have to give it like a 5 or 6.
I wouldn't even.
I would probably, I'd
say towards 5.
I'm gonna go 5.5 actually.
Okay.
Because right in the middle. Because I mean, it's enjoyable enough, but on rewatch, I just don't think it's that good. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna have to do it for this one. I just wish this film was better. And again, not bad because I would still recommend watching it. Just
to watch it.
Yeah.
Just to experience it.
If you're a fan of the Scream movies, I would say still watch it,
but don't go into it expecting a good movie.
Which is kind of what killed it for me the first time. Like the first time, like I thought it was enjoyable, but then the second time, I was just kind of like, something's.
The characters are not very smart.
Something's just bothered me a little bit more.
But for my rating, okay, so I'm a huge horror movie fan, and hopefully we do more horror movie ratings on this channel because I will be in every single one.
At some point, I'll go back and review the other Scream movies.
Yeah, Halloween, whatever. Yeah, but I love horror movies, and like most horror movies are not that good. But one of the few like really good horror movies, along with like the first Halloween movie, is the first Scream movie, and I think this movie kind of piggybacks on it a little bit too much.
I don't think yeah.
Well, I guess that's the point of the movie. You'll understand when you watch it. But I'm probably going to say... So I was going to say 5 or 4.5. But because Dewey friggin' died, I'm going to give it a 4.5. So it took it from a 5 to a 4.5. Because I love Dewey. Okay?
Yeah.
And I love David Arquette. So a 4.5. So not as bad as a lot of other horror movies we might cover in these videos, but
yeah,
it's definitely nowhere near the first one, which I would give like an 8 or a 9.
I would give the first one probably like a 9.
I would give it a 9. So it's nowhere in comparison to like its predecessors. It's not great, but
yeah.
I'd say it's still worth a watch.
It's worth watching at least once.
Maybe not in theaters because it'll probably be out soon.
Maybe, who knows. But yeah, that's gonna have to do it for this one. Sorry this took so long to get out, but it gave people enough time to be able to see it, at least the people who wanted to. So I mean, that's gonna have to do it. The next new movie we're gonna do, I don't know.
Is it time for Batman? Is that the next?
Not yet, actually, because next is gonna be Uncharted.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely do that one.
At least there's a new one. I think the next new movie is definitely going to have to be Uncharted. And then we get to the Batman. I think the Batman is going to be an interesting one because there's going to be such a large... I think there's a large group of people who want to be a part of this review. Yep, that's going to do it. So, yeah, Scream was fine. Go check it out if you want to. But that's going to do it. So stay tuned for Uncharted. And then couple weeks, actually.
I think so.
Like 3 or so weeks. Stay tuned for that. Later, webheads.